Hello from Nairobi, the headquarters of What's Your Story Africa. My name is Catherine Mwangi. I am delighted that you made the time to come. This is the African conversation. Today, we are asking what is the cost of wasted talent in Africa? What's Africa losing? With everything that's going on in our beautiful continent, we have literally all the resources, all the people. We have the youngest population in the world, and yet we still have people who have dreams that are yet to be fulfilled for whatever reasons. Could be socioeconomical reasons, political reasons, you name it. We have a people in this continent that deserve to have their dreams. They deserve to be soaring, with the rest of the world. So what holds us back, and what can we do in order to just see this come to pass? And I am joined by an incredible panel. And today I take a back seat because we have two co-moderators, Robin Kisti and Isabella Mainah. Robin is from Kampala, Uganda, and Isabella is a Kenyan in the diaspora in Bahrain. And I've known these two ladies for more than 10 years. Our work has, we have worked together on so many projects. And I'm so happy to see you girls. How you doing, Robin? Starting with you. How is everything?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Kathy, for having me on this platform. It's such a great opportunity. I
Oh,
definitely don't take it for granted.
I'm so honored to see you. It's been a while. You've been well. What are you working on now?
I'm doing well currently. I'm more into, entrepreneurship, just kind of studying a bunch of different businesses because, Africa is the future and it's only us that have to do the job of, creating jobs for people
Yeah,
and being able to empower young people, the youth especially.
I like that. It's good to see
Mm.
you. I'm looking forward to you co-moderating this with Isabella in Bahrain. Can you hear me, girl? How are you?
I can hear you, Catherine. Thank you so much. Thank you for, for hosting us on this amazing platform and for, having great and amazing conversations that keep us wanting for more. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And it's simmering hot in Bahrain, but we think it's summer. We're grateful, yes.
I see that. It is no, it's the opposite. Nairobi is cold, but at least there's a little bit of sun. But it's generally been a cold month. So I know you know how it is anyway. This is your home, but you're making it happen in Bahrain. So I'm so glad to see you girls. And today, for the first time on any of my platforms, I have you both co-moderating the African conversation. It's a first for us. So thank you so much for that. And this is why I leave the stage and hand it over to you girls to introduce our esteemed panel and, of course, give context to this topic. So over to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Robin, you want to go?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely going to be doing the icebreaker. However, Isabella is supposed to first introduce the panel. Isabella, are you ready with the introduction?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. We have an amazing panelist today. We have Tosin Arowojolu. She's expert in leadership development, international keynote speaker with John Maxwell, the director for John Maxwell Leadership. I know her. She does amazing great work over here in Bahrain. She was a former civil engineer with global leadership experience across the entire whole world, you know, from the US, from Nigeria to US, to now Bahrain. She's doing amazing, great stuff. Thank you so much, Tosin. Welcome. We have the amazing Susan. Susan Kibe, she's an emotional wellness coach, and she has a podcast, and she's also an author. Welcome so much, Susan Kibe. And we have the amazing Chris Wanga. He's in the creative space. I've known him for over a decade. And Chris Wanga,
Trial
he
version.
started off his journey as an IT. He studied at Makerere University, IT, but right now he stepped into now media arts and
Trial
entertainment. He's doing
version.
amazing and great things. He's a father, he's a mentor, he's mentored people in the photography field, and he's also a host on Father Studies. Welcome, welcome. In Africa, we say karibuni sana.
Yeah.
Welcome, our panelists, and over to you, amazing co-moderator Robin Kisti.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to be on TAC today and just welcoming both of our guests, of course. Thank you for taking the time out to really definitely be here with us. It's very important that we sit here and do conversations like this because for whoever is watching, I'm sure it's going to be a breath of fresh air and great load of information. For me, actually, I wanted us to start off with just a small icebreaker, just so we can kind of like break the ice and get to know ourselves. And the question that I'm going to ask to all of you is, what talent is it that is working for you, and what talent is dormant? And I will start with you, Isabella, I guess, because you're my co-moderator.
Okay, cool. I think there's something I read a while ago that a human being has around 500 talents. I looked at myself, I was like, whoa, okay, how many talents do I have? So, one that comes off very naturally is speaking. So, I have speaking talent, I have a writing talent, I have an organizing talent, I have a planning talent. What else do I have? I have a producing talent as well. I have an acting talent. You're not what me acting, but I've acted in a couple of some local shows. And I have a singing talent,
Wow.
but it's a bit dormant because I think I sing mostly in the bathroom and sometimes outside there and through my phone. So it's a bit dormant, but I need to work on that. The rest, writing and producing, I have explored them. Speaking, I've explored them. So I'm yet to discover more and more about me. So I think it's every day we grow and we realize ourselves. So I'm yet to reach my 500th talent. Over to you. Thank you so much.
All right. So, yeah, let's hear from you, Tosin, what your talent is.
Wow. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you again for inviting me to join this amazing platform. And what a question. Talent. I'm still exploring, but I can tell you that one of my best talents is connecting with people. I connect with people from all over the world. It doesn't matter where in the world they are or how old they are or what they look like. I am a connector. So I love connecting with people because I'm a naturally curious person. I'm always wanting to know, who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? You can see me talking to a 5-year-old, like that's my buddy. Or I can be talking to someone who's 90, just because I love to engage and people are so amazing. Additionally, I'm an engineer, I'm a speaker, so that's one of my talents. And I love what Isabella just talked about. Now, singing is not one of my talents for sure, but my talent is dancing. I love to dance. And I'm not sure what you meant by hidden. Is it something we already know, but we're not maybe using it as much? Then I'll say dancing because I haven't been dancing in a while, except maybe just with friends. But I'm looking to explore more and I love to engage and find out more and more about myself. It's always a wonderful surprise. Thank you.
Great.
Back to you.
All right, Chris, let's hear from you. Yes, let's hear from you, Chris. What is your talent that you think you're using, and which talent is dormant at the moment?
Hey, hope you're all hearing me. I'm not so
Yes.
sure. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, but I hope you're hearing me.
Yes.
Okay, I think I have a listening ear, if I can say, and connecting ear, a listening and connecting with people from different walks of lives, the high and mighty, those that we think are low. Uh, that is, I can say that is one of the talents that I have, among the gifts. What else? What is dormant? I've not really done a good checkup about that. Maybe after this now, this is gonna be one of those things that I say I go and relearn about myself.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. You don't know what's dormant. I guess everything is working for you currently. Well, thank you so much for that. Breaking that ice. At least now I know what everyone's talent. Well, I would talk about myself when it comes to talent. Like Isabella, I have many talents. I'm a performer. First of all, I'm a performer. I can sing. I can dance. I can act. I have a speaking talent. I'll also say that I'm very well. I work very well with people. People gravitate towards me a lot. I'm a helper. Like my goal is I do a lot of charity because I feel like it's pretty much not a talent. I think that is just who I am. I love helping people. So and also dancing is I think is the dormant one because I think it's got to do with confidence, kind of. When it comes to dancing. But I think speaking right now is what is working for me the most because of the recognition I've gotten through my speaking and how I'm changing people's lives through speaking. So that will be my talent. That is working, and dancing is dormant because I don't even go to the clubs anymore. I'm at the age where I don't party anymore. So I unless I'm doing yoga, I'm not doing much dancing. So yes, that's about me, and I'm just glad to be here with all of you. And let's just dive into the real question, the core of our talk today or our live today. And this is definitely, I'm going to go back to my co-host, Isabella. And the question is, when you hear the term wasted talent, what is the first image that comes to your mind? Yes, Isabella.
Anyone can go. I'm not so sure
Yeah.
how to go. Okay, Isabella.
Oh, I think you're muted. You're muted there, Isabella. You're muted. So yes, definitely. There she goes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robin. You can hear me now?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, when I hear the word wasted, to me, wasted means something which has value but has not been explored. Most of the time we hear wasted like you've wasted the milk, you've done this, you've done that. So for me, in hindsight, wasted something has value but has not yet been explored. So we have, and when I put it in the phrase of wasted talent, we have a lot of talent out there. And most of the time, most of the time people think it's the talent that for singing, for dancing, the talents that can easily be seen by people is what is there. But we have a lot. There's planning, there's listening. Chris has spoken about listening. He has a very good ear of listening. That's also a talent. We have somebody who has a very good, organizational skill. We have somebody who has very good skill, in planning and putting things in order and putting things together. So for me, those are also talents. So I'd like to tell people out there, it's not just about what you can be able to see that is working. Also, the other kind of talent, administration is also a talent. So for me,
Right.
wasted, when I hear the word wasted talent, it means that something which it has the potential, but it has not yet been revealed for the manifestation for people to be able to see it. That would be my take for that.
Great, great. Oh yeah, thank you so much. I definitely believe that because talent is everywhere, and it's just about giving it a platform, and it's about you as the person who has the talent to recognize yourself that you have the talent, and then that way you can come out and show people that talent. So yeah, thank you so much for that one, Isabella. And I think my next question is going to Tosin. Thank you so much again. You're welcome again. And this question is about, of course, your work. You have coached many leaders across the continent of Africa. Do you think wasted talent is an individual problem, or is it a leadership problem?
That's a great question, Robin. Now, leadership is something that I think is taken for granted. When a leader understands that they are able to draw out potential from people and they're not putting that into good use, that's a waste. So by understanding that as a leader, I can recognize potential in other people, those that I'm working with, those that are within my ecosystem, and help them develop their potential. We talked earlier about the youth. How about if leaders begin to help this youth bring out their talent? So it's not just an individual responsibility, it's a leadership responsibility to recognize those people who are talented, whether it's in organization, whether it's in communication, speaking, and help them bring it out. Because sometimes we need people to help us draw out what's within us. We all have different talents. And sometimes we just need that help to bring it out. And I think when we can understand our roles as leaders, not just for ourselves, but for those around us, we can make the impact that's necessary to help people develop their talent, as whether it's in whatever area it is, we can help them develop that talent. So it's not just individual, but also a leadership role to bring out the talent.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that answer. Isabella, the floor is yours, my darling.
So, Chris, you've done a lot through further studies, the show that you currently have. But I'd like to just ask you, through the platform that you have, what role can fathers play helping children to discover their potential and also maybe hidden identity that they may be having?
Thank you so much, Isabella, for that question. And yes, I got this after. Let me. Can I be able to recount? But this thing of fatherhood came in so strongly when I had my children, and I agree with you that fathers are the first ones. Some parents should be the first people who can be able to identify their children's giftings and talents because they spend most of the time with them at home. We do know that if a father is present enough at home, he can be able to see these giftings. And so with that, they can be able to fund, to support, to encourage their children to go on with them. It's like you are a coach when you're at home as a father, as a parent. And we all know that the things which we are born with, they're inherent in our system. So when we can be able to discover those things, those giftings, those talents early enough in our children and be able to encourage them and even reach out to other people to mentor them as early as possible, these children will be either when they go out, they'll be able to use these giftings and these talents to be able to make their lives better and the people who are around them. We all know that these gifts, these talents are not just for us personally. We have them so that we can be able to use them to uplift other people's lives. That is the first thing that you need to know. Apart from them, the giftings and the talents being an advantage to us, we are supposed to use them to assist others around us. And I strongly believe that as parents, as fathers, we can be able to notice as early as possible and be able to fund, if I can say, fund the giftings. Like for one of my children who is, he loves music. I think this is something that he has. No one, not any of us taught him. He has a very good listening ear to instruments, to the beats. So I believe this is one of the talents that he is born with. So it's up to us as parents, up to us as men, as fathers, to be able to nurture this gift, to nurture this talent, so that it can be able, so that it doesn't get wasted. Let me come back to what our topic is, if I can use this word, because when we don't, they'll be wasted. They will not be used. They'll not even know. Or when fathers put down their kids because of their talents, that's gonna be a wasted talent. A child will either come way later in life to be able to know that I was gifted in such a way, in a certain way, but my father, my parents never really encouraged me to do it. So it's up to us as parents to be able, that is the first place where we can notice and nurture the talent.
Wow, that's really amazing. Thank you so much. And what you do, you're doing so much amazing. You know, in just nurturing the future generation for that. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Thank you so much for that input. For me, Tosin, in the leadership, I really keen to ask you this. Why do you think that intelligent, capable people that they really do underestimate themselves?
That's a very important question. And I have to go back to when I was growing up in Nigeria. And the culture that I was exposed to was that of children are seen and not heard. And so for me, speaking up was not something that came naturally to me. It's something that over time I had to learn to be able to speak up. There's some people who are able to speak up because of their personality, but being a very shy child, being very bullied as a young girl, it made me withdraw. And anybody who's ever experienced that, there's something that holds you back. Even when you have something to say, you don't want to be laughed at, you don't want to be ridiculed, and it holds you back from speaking up. And I think culturally, at least what like I said, we were taught, you know, children are heard and not seen. When we have that kind of mindset, it holds us back. However, things are changing. And I think the more we encourage our young people, especially, to come out of their shell, to speak, not to wait until somebody gives them permission, but whatever it is, don't let anybody hold you back or tell you otherwise. Just have that confidence to speak up. When we start to teach our young people to be confident and to speak up and not be bothered about whether someone will laugh at them or not, but to have that innate value, knowing who they are, we'll begin to see that people speak up and you'll begin to see things change. And I think that's where we need to head, changing that mindset, changing the cultural way that people have been brought up, and having us encourage, especially our young people, to speak up whenever they have the opportunity to.
Amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. It's such really Yes. So Isabella, thank you so much. I have a couple of questions for a couple of more people. But right now I wanted to talk to Susan. Susan, thank you for joining us. I thought we might not have you there for a second, but I'm so glad to have you because this next question is yours. And actually, this question really sits deep with me because currently I'm on a mental health journey with young people. So the question is, you do help people rebuild their identity after trauma. Now, the question is, how much African talent do you think is buried beneath the wounds?
Wow, thank you, thank you so much, Robin, for the question. It will shock you to realize that a lot of potential and talent is hidden in a lot of trauma and wounds, because there's something that comes with when your identity is dented or affected in any way. You start working in self-doubt, you lack self-worth, imposter syndrome becomes your everyday thing, like you pick on a new identity. And what that does is that it limits you from giving and being the gift that even everything that the talents have been deposited in you, you hinder that from flowing. And so a lot of things that you will do and deliver and even be a blessing to humanity is not able to come out, because identity, losing your identity, it's like you lose your voice as well. Losing identity steals your voice. So you will have nothing to say. You ask somebody, what do you think? Do you even to give an idea of something? And they say, you know what, it's fine, I'll flow. I don't have an idea. I agree with what everybody says. But that is because you have gone through a journey, either of trauma or whatever emotional journey you've been through, that has made you lose yourself to the point of your voice being stolen. So there is so much talent that is hidden in behind people who have gone through trauma and emotional wounds, that they're not able to express themselves, they're not able to even share their ideas, they're not able to contribute to even conversations. And that means that because all of us are different, we are all unique and we are gifted differently. So if I don't give my own part, then the humanity will be missing out from what I'm supposed to contribute to the conversation. So there's so much talent and giftings that are hidden under trauma. And that is why it is important for people to be able to find healing, find their emotional wellness, and work in identity to be able to just come out as who they are, and make sure we enjoy every gift that is in the young people and everyone else. Thank you.
Yeah, and also as a follow-up, I do when I do look at observe the families in African families, we so much into, well, basically we live in so many blended families, or we grow up sometimes within blended families, and sometimes when you grow up in that kind of family setting, there's a way it limits some of the kids, or even one of the partners being in a blended family. So I think it kind of also holds us back. So my question to you is, how does one as a parent navigate blended families and making sure that every child gets a voice, even if it's not your child, maybe it's your spouse's child, and vice versa? How do we navigate this? Because I think it's key to the trauma that all of us actually do hold, and what holds back our talents.
Wow, thank you. You have landed right in my inbox. As a parent who is also blending, that is my space. That is my space. And what you have said is very true, but the background of it will be lack of healing. Because you see, if you come into the blending without finding healing, then we'll be covering up maybe out of grief, out of probably loss of a parent, or probably divorce, which is also loss. And what that does is that the wound makes you feel like you are inadequate. Sometimes the children feel like probably the divorce was my mistake. Probably if I wasn't here. Yeah, so it's the role of every parent to ensure that the children they are raising, both their biological children and what I call bonus children, in growing up, they used to be called stepchildren, make sure you are giving them equal opportunities. If the children need to go for therapy to find their voice, wherever their voice probably got lost in the journey, it is advisable to offer every kind of help that you can be able to offer as a parent to bring out whatever gift or whatever voice that child is supposed to bring out, and to, even communicate to others, because being in a blended family does not put you at a point of disadvantage. It's just a season of life. It's just a different kind of a dynamic that should not make sure that those children, live in a space of disadvantage. So every child should be able to still express their giftings, still shine, still thrive in every opportunity they get. So the parents have the responsibility to, number one, offer, equal opportunities. Where therapy is needed, give therapy. Make these children feel received, accepted, share values that will help them even embrace the new identity in the family. And so it should not be an avenue that will cut out the giftings that should be, and the talents that should be expressed by the children. So it's the role of the parent to make sure this is safe, make them feel this is safe space. You can open up here, we are growing together. We are all learning. Even as a parent, I'm still learning my bonus children. I have to understand where they're coming from and understand where they are at. Probably what I'm seeing as a problem is out of trauma. So that is why therapy is key. It is not weakness to get help. However, the family has come together. And so the parents should be on the forefront. Number one, to work in emotional wellness themselves, to make sure their identity is intact, and to make sure that children don't feel like our family is at disadvantage, because it's just a different dynamic. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. I'm so glad you touched on that, because I am personally I'm with a blended family, because my partner has kids and I do have kids too. So sometimes it does get a bit, if you're not used to it, it does get a bit kind of confusing on how to deal with some of the kids, because sometimes you don't want to be so tough on your partner's kid, but then you're tough on your child, and then there's kind of an imbalance somehow, but we do learn as we go on the job. So thank you so much. And I'll give the mic to Isabella.
Thank you so much for that. Maybe one more thing for Susan. It's also trauma. It's also so personal for me as well. How would you tell that 40 or 50-year-old child, because within us we always have that child who is so traumatic deep inside of us, yet it has already caught up with age? What would be your take? What would you tell them? Because there's some who are still struggling and they're not able. They're very talented deep inside, but there's something something was done to them, or something was said to them. Can I just be honest and be raw as it is? I remember, I think why I've not really gotten in deep into the space for for singing. I remember I went to a studio. I opened my mouth and I sang. I remember the guy told me, stop. Do you know, since that day, it stood out for me for a period of like a decade. I was not able to explore that area, because every time when I hit to the studio would be like, I would remember the words that he told me, but I did recover from that. And now I can even be able to do something for you guys. So how can you speak to that person, speak to that inner child within that 40 or 50-year-old person who still have that traumatic thing inside of them?
Wow, thanks, Isabel. I think where we are at now is not where we began. Initially, issues of mental health were not seriously taken up as growing up. Even in the Christian space, it would seem like you're possessed and all that, But nowadays, we are at a space where we are embracing it as, if you're going through depression, you are sick, you need to be treated. And there is treatment available. So it doesn't matter whether the person who is going through trauma is 15 or 50. If you feel there's an issue, or there is a part of you that is still traumatized, either from childhood trauma or whatever kind of trauma, it is okay to seek help and to be able, number one, you have to acknowledge that where I am at, I'm not giving my best. And then once you acknowledge, if you can be able to just trace back and see, where did all this begin? some of us were raised by military parents, and so if you're not careful, you will transfer the same to your children. And meanwhile, the children we are raising, military will not work. That colonial era cannot work. So once you acknowledge that there's a problem, and then trace back to probably where it began, so that you can be able to go to the roots and find help. If you do not find help, it will limit you, you will be stuck, and then it will come back because you end up feeling so disappointed. You feel like I'm not able to achieve my goal, and it really takes you back. So number one, you have to acknowledge there's a problem because I'm not giving my best, I don't feel my best, and then trace back to where it started, and then be bold to seek help. I always say, anytime you have a chance to seek help, it is not weakness. The more you remain stuck, the more you will be frustrated, and then you'll keep feeling dissatisfied even with life. So just acknowledge, number one, acceptance, and then find where it began, then step out and get help.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. So maybe for all those people who still have their inner child and they have not been able to explore it, just get help. You know, I think we're living in the times whereby we have the freedom of expression. So with Chris Wanga, you deal with a lot of men. Is it easy for men to be able to express themselves? Because, you know, they tell people, there's this phrase that they say, you know, real men don't cry. So what is your take on that?
Okay, that is what I think that is how most men were raised, to think and to believe that real men don't cry. But we do cry. We can maybe not crying physically, maybe the tears not coming out, but we do cry. And crying is, I can just say we do express emotions in different ways. So men were told not to express it outwardly by crying, but we do express these emotions through anger. You can see so many men are very angry. You can even, if you've come in a city where there's too much traffic, you see how people are so angry on the road rages. Those are just expressions of the emotions that we have. It's only that we were conditioned, we were taught not to cry as a way of expressing our emotions, which is not okay. It is not really okay. That one I am against. If you need to cry, just cry. I always encourage men to speak out, to have close group of men, like-minded people that you can go out and speak to instead of just bottling up everything. And this is something that has been so much done in our African setting, which is also killing many men. As you can also, I think according to research, more men do commit suicide more than women because of that one thing, not expressing your emotions, not expressing how you feel, which is not okay. We are human beings who were created with full of emotions. So, and crying doesn't mean that you're weak. These are things that I always tell men. It doesn't mean that you're weak. For those who are believers, for those who are Christians, you know, even Jesus cried. So who are you? Who am I? Not to cry, not to express how I feel. So I always try to encourage men to express their emotions. And to, if you're a father, don't repeat the same things that was done to you as a father by your own parent, by the male figures around you, by maybe trying to suppress your children's emotions too. Boys are told not to cry. Still, some parents are still doing the same thing, which is not working out. We've seen it is not working out, right? So I always try and encourage men around me and those that I can reach out to express their emotions. It is a healthy way of healing, as Susan is saying. That is a healthy way of doing life. And when you let me not speak so much for now, but I think it's okay to express your emotions. It is not weakness to cry. It's not weakness to ask for help. It is not.
Listen, I'm going to interrupt our moderators. I had to just come back from behind the scenes to this conversation based on what Chris just said now. And I thank you for that question, because you see, we're speaking about a continent that has either latent talent, incredible potential, and people who do not know where to find or how to find themselves. And a huge chunk of that talent is men. So when you bring in this aspect of just men being able to express themselves, and they're not able to do that. So like when Chris said at the start of your answer, you said you just see angry men everywhere. That's a form of crying. They're crying. They're expressing themselves. But and I like that, because it doesn't mean that we have to see the tears. But sometimes I feel like, maybe the question is where for you, Chris, where is the place of authenticity in showing that we can be who we are in whichever spaces, irrespective of how we were raised, if we are to be the people we are meant to be for this continent? Does that make sense?
If I've understood Catherine, I think once we agree that we are humans, that we are not immortal beings, you need to agree and create spaces where you need to express yourself. Okay, it also depends on there are I can say some variables that, okay, you can't also be a crier 24/7, but you can create a space with fellow men where you can go and cry.
So
I'm not saying that you keep on crying each and every time and everywhere, but you can, because you're also supposed to show strength. Assuming you're a father in a home and you keep on crying 24/7, even your children will not be able to understand. You'll throw off your partners, you'll throw off your kids. They'll not be able to understand, oh, what's happening with daddy. It might mess up everything. They'll lose hope, for lack of a better way. So in such a situation, you can have men, friends, where you can go and cry and express yourself to them. Then when you come back home, you are a bit, sorry? Why are you guys laughing?
Crying club.
Listen.
Yes.
Women don't cry every time as well. And that's not what I'm asking. And I'm going to get out of your hair. But I'm just saying, you run a podcast specifically for dads, for fathers, isn't it? So, and I'm sure you listen to some really hard stories. So, and that's a space you have created in the world of podcasting for men who are dads to come and just, open their hearts. We say in our language, Tosin, we say kufungua roho in Swahili. So where we're not saying cry every time. And of course, your masculinity has to be strong. But we're just saying, a huge part of talent development is when even our brothers, our dads, our uncles can express themselves. And I bow down. I promise I'm not interrupting again, but I'm always that one just pulled me back to that pulled me back. But yeah, thank you for accommodating me, Robin and Isabella. I'm completely out now.
Sure. No problem. We welcome you always.
Okay.
Can I just jump in here, because I think it's important to show that to our children, vulnerability. This idea that we cannot cry before our children is part of the issue, that they grew up thinking crying is weakness.
Right.
I was part of a mega church when I lived in the US. And I was shocked the day my pastor said, please pray for me. I had never heard a pastor say, pray for me, because the idea was, that's the pastor. But he showed vulnerability. And I think we need to understand that when we show vulnerability, that's strength. And even for our children, they need to see that side of us. We're not just one facet. We have different sides. So when they see that, My father can cry. I think maybe I saw my father cry once or twice. I've seen my husband cry a few times, so he's a lot more vulnerable. But it's important, and my kids cry as well. Not and like Chris was saying, it's not like they cry 24/7, but at the appropriate time, it's okay to cry. I just had to jump in on that.
Thank you. Yes, Isabella.
Amazing. Amazing. That's really great. Thank you so much. Yeah. So for all the men out there and who are watching and who will also watch this in future, please be authentic. It is healthy to cry. Okay. So I hand it over to my co-host Robin to take us to the next session. Over to you, Robin.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, my question right now, again, I think we're throwing questions to Chris right now. You are on the pedestal right now. My question to Chris is, can a single parent be able to, encourage or change the trajectory of a child's life? Like a single parent, can they help do that, change the trajectory of a child's life?
Thank you so much for that question, Robin. Yes, a single parent can. A parent is a parent. She or he is the adult person in the room, and children tend to gravitate towards whatever the adults in the room do. So as a parent, whether you're single or not, you have the power to model, to direct, to change everything that you're seeing within your children's lives, because they will always go towards whatever you're doing as a parent. And you just need to be very cautious of what you're doing around them, what you are telling them, what you're modeling to them, and they'll be able to go through that. Single parenthood is not something it's not a weakness, if I can say that. It's not a weakness. We've seen many people who have been brought up by single parents and have turned out to be very great and influential people in the society. So that should not put you down. It's just you as a single parent to be able to understand what you can do and what you lack a bit and try to substantiate it with people around you. Like I can put maybe an example, assuming it's a single parent who is a lady or it's a man, a single parent, you can bring in other people around you, friends, uncles, brothers, who you value their character, that can be able to also model something in your children's lives. So you don't really need to do this alone on your own. You need to create some communities around you to be able to assist where you feel some deficiency. Like I was saying, maybe I mentioned a single parent who is a woman raising a boy child. There's some things maybe that boy will need to get from a man, not necessarily from a woman, like how to just be a man. So you need to create a community of men with reputable character that can be able to now to hold that boy into manhood. The same, maybe a single parent who is a father raising up a daughter. You also need to bring in some lady friends, lady relatives that you value. You've looked at their character and you've seen that they can teach or train your child in certain ways. So you can also bring a sister, a cousin, a friend who can be able now to nurture or to bring the girl into womanhood, right? But you don't need to feel insecure or insufficient as a single parent that you can't really train your child into greatness. That I hope I've answered that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because in Africa, I guess one of the biggest problems we do have is single parenthood, especially when it comes to women. A lot of women here in Africa are raising kids especially well in my country, are raising kids single-handedly because the generation these days they don't take responsibility, and that's just a fact. Research shows that. So the main reason why that because I feel like as mothers we are faced with raising boys, and I'm a mother with two boys. I have three children, two boys and a girl. And at the beginning, my oldest son, I wasn't with his father, and I was staying with him. But I felt personally that as a woman, it was difficult for me to truly understand this boy, because I could see that with him as a young boy, he could already see that my mother is a woman. She's weaker. So I don't really listen to her like that. Because as mothers, when we have our kids, the first thing is we show them so much love because it's all about protection. Now, when it comes to the disciplining part of a boy who you've been, nurturing and, treating them like a fragile object. And then now it reaches a certain age where you're like, no, you can't do this. And you're trying to be the dad when there is no dad. I found it really difficult because my son would just not listen to me. He would just not hear me, no matter how I spoke, no matter how angry I got. He would just not listen. But then the minute he started living with his father, now it's actually a different story, because he listens to his father more than he listens to me. And I see even with the younger boy that I'm raising right now, I'm also not with his father. And I could already tell that he doesn't want to listen to me simply because I'm a woman. But then when there is another man who is not the dad, but it's a man, tries to go hard on him, he's scared, and he's like, okay, you tell him I'm gonna call Uncle Simon. Then he'll be scared because I'm gonna call Uncle Simon. But then why is it that when I say it, it doesn't stick? So I guess the follow-up question to you, Chris, is as women, what's the best way for us to manage these boys, especially when you are handling this boy alone? Either the father is not the picture or he walks out of town. It kind of, for me personally, it's kind of difficult for me when it comes to my boys.
That's a very tricky question, Robin. But I can say maybe something that is maybe a bit tricky is when we start to discipline when they're getting older, when they're getting into their teen. When you start doing that at that particular moment, it's gonna not work. But when you bring them up from zero with the discipline, I don't think they will be able to not listen to you, Robin. My thinking would be, and also most of the times they look at what we do as parents and what we say. Most of us most of the times we do speak so much, but when they see, they can't relate the spoken word or the spoken correction to what we do. We just command without really modeling whatever we are trying to pass across. The trainings. And it is also, we have to admit too that there's some things a man can do which is inherent, like that bit of now you've said you're the father of your second child. When he speaks, the boy listens. There's some authority that we've been given as men, as fathers, that we need, that we always, when we use it, it works best for the children. When we use it responsibly and carefully, it works best for the child, because the child also doesn't need to be scared. When you say, I'm gonna call Uncle Simon and get scared, there's something I'm not connecting with a bit there. But I can say start the discipline very early when they're growing, before they get to teen, when they start now comparing you as a woman to another man. And that's why I said you also, that Uncle Simon, if he's there, bring him on board as early as they are growing. And also there's a way we discipline. We always say spare the rod and spoil the child. I don't know where that came from, because people are abusing the children in the name of disciplining. They're abusing the kids, which is really working against those kids. I'm not saying that you don't use the cane. The cane has to be used, but carefully. After you've trained, after you've taught this child what to do, and they have not gotten it, or sometimes they're just rebellious, that's when you use the cane. So I can say that it is not very, very tough to raise boys as long as you start very early, and you bring also men around. I'm not so sure if I've answered you, Robin.
Yes.
I think like it seems like my mind is a bit scattered.
No, I think I know. I think I know what you're trying to definitely get at. I definitely appreciate that, because it gives me some pointers. And again, Madame Tosin, I want to follow up with this question, because you seem like you do how you just said you were in your son's room. You do have a son. So my question is, how old are your sons, and how, I'm sure you're not a single mother, but as a mother, through your experience, how have you been dealing with your boys? And as an African mom, a Nigerian mom, I feel like you guys are more, what should I say, more aggressive with those boys? I don't know, culture-wise. So how do you deal with your boys? How easy or how hard is it as a Nigerian mother?
Okay, so first let me give you my backstory. I came from, I had my father, my mother, and I had a younger brother. So there were two of us. My father was definitely the disciplinarian. He was the type that if he looks at you, that's all he has to do. And back then, that's all we needed to know what we needed to do. Times have changed. Now I have two boys, or two young men now. My oldest is 21 and my younger son is 17. And fortunately, I have my husband as well. And the way I used to talk to them when they were younger is definitely different, because with age, it changes. They change, I change. I could talk to them sternly when they were younger, like, hey, you need to do that. In fact, if I look at it, I was pretty tough with them, because I felt they needed to understand what respect means. You need to respect your parents. And so I was pretty tough with them, not to the extent that I used to whip them or nothing like that, except occasionally when they really needed it. But they had to understand that this is the way to behave. This is how you talk. You don't talk anyhow to me. I'm your mother, and we're your parents, and you need to respect us. And that has stayed with them, fortunately, as they're older now, because now I'm hearing some of my other friends talk about the way their kids talk to them, disrespectful. But I think because we started very young with them to understand this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, this is not an acceptable way to speak to your parents, it stayed with them. And I think when you lay down the proper protocol, I would say, on how kids should behave, they learn, they know. One thing about kids, they're always looking for how far can they push the button and what will make mom or dad trip. And they'll push you. But if you can stand your ground and let them understand, this is it, don't go back past this board, don't go past this line, otherwise you will get in trouble. They respect that. They need boundary. Kids need boundary. And that boundary, when you give it to them, they respect it, they understand it, and it stays with them. Because I see the relationship I have with my kids now. We have a great relationship. We're able to talk with them. We've gone from mom and dad to more like friends now, and we're able to converse and have a connected conversations, because now they're older. I can't just be yelling at them anyhow. So it changes. It changes, and you just have to, you as a parent also have to shift and know that the way your relationship changes, it changes over the years as well.
All right. Now, getting away from a little bit from raising children, I have another question for you, Tosin. Many people wait to be discovered. Many people wait to be discovered instead to show their talent, instead of going out there to show themselves. Do you think this is an African problem?
I think it's a person problem. It could also have some dealings with our culture. Again, because I talked earlier about, we're raised as kids speak, but you speak when you're spoken to, kind of thing. One thing that has helped me, and I'm pretty visible, even though I live in a different country, I get out there, I step out. And the reason is because I'm a person of faith. And I read the story in the Bible about the hidden talent. The man who was going away and he gave talents. He gave 5, he gave 3, and then he gave 1. And when he came back, the one that had the 5 talent had multiplied his talent. The one that had 3 had also multiplied. But the one that had 1 hid the talent and he got in trouble. And I was like, whatever God has given me, I'm not going to hide it.
Right.
Not out of fear, but because it's my responsibility as a child of God to put into use what has been given to me. It's a blessing. And God gave me those gifts as a reason. And so my encouragement is whatever your talent is, don't wait to be discovered. Step out. Because God, and I guess it also depends on what your faith is, but for me, God has given me those gifts, not for me, but to share it. Because I don't want to stand in front of him and he's like, what did you do with what I gave you? We all have potential, but if we don't use it, then it's a waste. But when we use it, it multiplies. Because if you remember, the story was that even the person, the one that had the 1 talent, it was taken from him and given to the one that had the 5 that had multiplied. So when we use our talents, it's like compounding. And that's my philosophy. Whatever I have, I'm going to keep giving it out, keep sharing it, because ultimately God is going to keep blessing me with even more. And it's not for me to hold on to, it's for me to share.
Amazing. Now, Isabella, time for your questions. I think you've been firing questions at everyone, but I think this is your time. I do understand that you have invested in raising other creatives. Why do you think mentorship is so important in this creative economy with the work that you do? Being in the creative industry myself, I find that very, very inspiring. So let us know why mentorship is very important. There she goes.
Awesome. Oh, I'm back. Yeah, thank you so much for that. For me, mentorship is really important because, one, the easiest way to get to where you want to go is to work with a mentor. Work with somebody who has been there before you, because they already have that experience. And I know we are living in different generations, and the current generation that we are in, most of the people say sometimes they don't want to be told, sometimes they want to do what they want to do, Like the way Tosin said, like she had to relearn first how to be able, to train her sons in a different way from the way her herself, from the disciplinarian father that she had, right? But mentorship, number one, it brings out guidance. When all is said and done, we need guidance. We need a blueprint of where you're going to. And mentorship helps in that. A mentor will open for you spaces that sometimes you'll not be able even to step into those places. They'll open for you rooms that you cannot be able to access simply because they themselves they have access to that place. A mentor can be able to to call out the foolishness, for lack of better words, foolishness out of you. Sometimes you may make a mistake, then they'll see, even before the mistake is made, they will see it before you even do that. But here is the thing, if you don't have an open heart, let's speak about faith actually, the same thing that Tosin has stepped into. If you do not have a teachable heart, you're not going to be able to go far. And having a mentor will help you to be able, because they'll open up their eyes wide enough for you. They'll be able to call out those things that are in you that you yourself have not even seen before. And we're living right now in a generation whereby not so many people are open to mentors. We have mentees who do not want to give themselves to mentors. I know it's hard work, by the way. It's really hard work, but if you want to be accountable to yourself, and I'm also speaking to the youth that are hearing me right now, if you want to go far and farthest without having a lot of costing to your destiny, and to some of these things, learn to listen, learn to have a teachable heart, work with somebody. When a mentee works with a mentor, the journey is really cut so short. They'll open for you platforms, they'll help you to collaborate, they'll give you access to places that you can never even, like, you'll dream of even going or stepping there. But we also have to be accountable. The keyword is accountability. We have so many people who are not ready to be accountable for. So Tosin, in my language, they say, unaniambia, like, what are you telling me? I can do this, I can do that. But we have mentors, and we have mentors for different generations. So I'll also speak in terms of the mentors that we have as well. Even for the mentors that we have, they also have to be open enough to see the generation that we have, because we have a very fast generation. I think we are on alpha. They're so fast. Like the babies are coming out of the womb knowing digital, they help together. So it's sort of like a collaboration. It's a collaboration. What we are living in right now, it's a collaboration between the mentor and the mentee. But when they come and patch in together, they just work in seamlessly together, and they create this amazingly and great bond. And after all is said and done, we have a legacy. We have a legacy to leave. And it's in all the spaces. Talk about, we have all the 7 mountains. We have media, arts, and entertainment. We have the mountain of economy. We have family. There's a lot. We have finance. There's so much. But when we're able to walk through that, that is the beauty about it. And for me, the space that I'm in, media, arts, and entertainment, I have this creative space called Jaw Dropping Entertainment, where we also mentor different youths in their gifts and their talents. And especially right now, let me tell you, even the mentor also keeps on learning, because they also have to keep on upgrading. There's one thing that I learned, that when you're up, you have to have somebody who is up there, and when you're down, you also have somebody who's down there so that you can pull them up. It's sort of like that ladder, so that you can all be in cohesion together. So we have opened that space. We have different conversations, and we also hold, in terms of leadership, just like Tosin, I was also able to do a leadership course through the John Maxwell Foundation. And what he has left in his legacy is just to create a space for leaders, to be able to, and we need, leadership is in all different aspects, in all the dimensions that you can be able to think about. And the beauty about it, you start by leading your life. This is personal development first. So we facilitate for personal development. Who am I first, and who's leading me first? How do I lead me so that I can be able to lead the rest of the people? And right now it's going great. I facilitate that on the space of Jaw Dropping Entertainment. It's in cohort 3 that we are following up through. So for me, I'm actually a product of mentorship. And the best thing for me, if you want to cut short your journey, pick up a mentor. And the mentee needs to have a teachable heart so that they can walk through with the mentor seamless. Yeah, over to you, Robin.
Yeah, I'm still on you actually because since we're still talking about we're talking about mentoring. I just found that this creative space that we're in, because personally myself, I am in the creative space, a former TV presenter. That's when I actually worked with Catherine at NTV Uganda. Currently, I do have an organization that is mentoring and teaching young people, inspiring them and empowering them to learn new skills. But since I studied a BFA in fine arts at Northern Illinois University in America, I decided that since that's what I have to offer, I would like to mentor young people within that field. Now in Africa, on the African continent, especially here in Uganda, the creative arts are seen more like should I say, kind of like a bottom of the pile career. Like in my language, there's a term they say "musiru dala dala," and it means stupid, very stupid, and really stupid. Apparently, that's what if you're doing MDD, because the course MDD, music, dance, and drama, they change the abbreviations to musiru dala dala MDD. So people here, they kind of it's changed now with the social media, with the social media space. But they used to see us people who pursue the creative industry as dumb people, like we failed at everything else, so we decided to go in front of a camera or dance or whatever. Which is not the case. I went to school for a bachelor in fine arts. My mother paid lots of money for that career, which is why I succeeded when I came to Uganda in that. Now, my question to you, dear, is that do you think the youth people are still taking the creative industry as a hobby, or are they starting to take it seriously as something big, as an economy, a growing economy?
Wow. We have now entered into the space of creative economy. And for this, we have a very fine example. We have, for example, Chris Wanga. He studied IT in Uganda, the Banange people.
Oh yeah,
And all of a sudden, he got into, photography. Let's use him as a perfect example because he's in the panelist.
right.
Actually, IT for him, I think, was like, father, this is your certificate, right? I think it was your father's degree, right? Can you confirm that? The IT?
Very well, I confirm.
So then he gave his father back his degree, and now he's, yeah. Then he said, you know
He's
what?
listening.
My passion is in media, arts, and entertainment, and it's in photography.
Right.
He did not even go to school for that. He sat under a mentor and he watched him day by day. He started, and I'll just tell his story. Allow me, Chris, to tell this story. He started, there's a place in Kenya. It's called, there's a place in Kenya, it's in a park. He started taking photos of people and then charging them. Uhuru Park. Thank you, Chris. We call it Uhuru Park. Tosin and Robin, one day we will take you down there to Uhuru Park. Right now, it's a very beautiful and amazing park. Charging people. Okay, I'm going to do what? I'll get a small camera or I'll borrow this camera, take photos, and then what? Print to people, bring it to them directly, kind of like a paparazzi. And then he saw, oh, there's actually, this thing can actually make money because you'll go with a few coins, right? You'll go with a few coins home. And then he said, okay, now I need to purchase my own camera. No, learn first the skill, learn the art. Then I can now be able to grade myself very well with other high-end photographers who have gone to Robin went to school. Let's say Robin went to School of Yale or School of the Arts, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and became very professional, learned the art, and now I can now open a business and then now do my grading according to how people are going to be. He's one of the most toppest, the best photographers in Kenya, in Africa as well, doing very well.
Wow.
That is a
Amazing.
case study. Right now, we have so many people, we have so many YouTubers, so many TikTokers, so many people who are doing podcasts. They realize they're in the profession, but some of them just switched because they realize, hey, actually, this thing can make money. That is
Mm-hmm.
economic empowerment.
Yes.
There's I think around about 2 years ago, if I can recall very well, the updates that creative economy brings about billions, billions, if not gazillions of dollars, and boost the economy of a country.
Mm-hmm.
And it is such a serious business right now. But for one, people have to be economically empowered. We have creatives who have not really learned, first of all, the skill itself yet, and also the business side of it. So some of them, hey, I can be able to sing. So they just start singing and putting their stuff outside there. There are some who are in serious business to it. And that's why they are earning. Talk about IPs. We have intellectual property. The filmmakers, we have writers, we have filmmakers. Actually, let me tell you, do you know the huge economic booster we know right now, straight from even Hollywood? That is what it uplifts the economy of, a nation. People are now investing way more on content, whatever you consume. You'll see people on YouTube. We have monetized our YouTube, we have monetized, our TikToks. Any click, click, watch, pay-per-view. There's also, VODs, it is there. So for this generation that is coming and everything, it's highly economical empowerment through the creative arts. But we need, for you to be to be taken as a serious person, you need first to study the art very well and be professional, so that you
Mm-hmm.
do not become like a one-hit wonder, or people not just take you just like this other person. You have to be professional, and also package yourself in the best way that you can be able, so that corporates are really taking out brands. They are really taking serious people as brands. If you have a brand manager, if you have a publisher, they're really taking you serious. So in Africa, that is what we really need to instill, that discipline, so that we can be able to to be more economically empowered. And I like to throw this question actually to Tosin and also to Susan, because I've just been reminded about how, are we have we intentionally kept have we intentionally kept the dreams of our kids silent in trying to help them navigate through. Some of them are very good in in different places, like in football, in sports, and in the creatives. Are we still raising our kids with that mindset of you need first to go into corporate before you can maneuver through this? Either of you between Susan and Tosin can go first.
I'll let Susan go because she hasn't spoken in a while. Go for it, Susan.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you, Tosin. I believe we are not in that space now, and I'm glad I'm on this call with Chris. I feel like finally I have a twin, because I studied IT in campus. My first degree was in IT, and I did IT, pursued even Cisco certifications. Please don't ask me what happened. Now I'm in the emotional wellness space. I'm doing coaching. I think I did it for my parents, because at that time it was what's selling, what's, you know, like what's the most common course that you can take. And I think we are not in that space now. And speaking from my own experience, I have one of my sons who's a very good footballer. Oh my goodness, he's very good. We watch soccer because of him. Now that I don't even understand what goes on. And I believe that whether they choose music, arts, or sports, we are the parenting we are in right now, and thankfully, even because of the education system, which is encouraging their giftings and talents, I believe we are not in the era of my son or daughter has to be a doctor, engineer, or, you know, that is how we grew up. So currently, I believe, even number one, even in the spaces I'm in and what I'm seeing, and even myself as a parent, if you tell me yours is music, I will get into a school of music, you know, help you write a script or write the music. And if it is singing, get a voice coach for you, because our children are better when they are performing in their giftings. They will even make more benefit to the society and even be more fulfilled. Because the moment you tell a child, now that our lineage is for teachers, and you know that even that teachers was, by the way, was in very many families. You see the mother is a teacher, the father, the aunties. So even you teaching, if it is not in you, you will not be fulfilled doing it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so I believe that we are in the space where we are building our children on whatever is their choice. If you are strong in music, I will support you. Like I normally tell my son, like yesterday they had a sport and had to wake up very early, prepare him, pack your snack and all that, make sure you get to school in good time for sports. And when they came back, they had won. I was so proud. I'm like, see, my waking up early on a Saturday was not wasted. And so as much as he's pursuing his studies, I also want to encourage him to will pursue this soccer thing. Over the weekend, you know, he's in a club, you join a club, do practice. You never know. He could be the Messi tomorrow. And, you know, I'll be that proud mother who did not waste that talent. So I believe you're in a different space and understanding right now better than probably where our parents. So our parents just knew corporate, probably because that is also what they grew up seeing. Like if you are in a white collar job, you're doing very well. And the children we are raising now are more exposed. As you said, Isabella, we are now we're in generation beta. The ones who are, I think, born from this year is a different generation. So they are more exposed. They are more what my 12-year-old daughter is doing now in computer, I learned in campus. The other day she came and showed me a project, they had done a website. I did that in campus. She's 12. So you cannot limit them to express themselves from what is their joy and what is their gifting. So I believe we are parenting in a different space. We are parenting in more understanding. We are also a bit enlightened now. And so I think we are in a better space to be able to help them to nurture their gifts and to help them shine in whatever space.
Yes, Tosin, how about you?
Oh, I think you were muted, so I didn't hear what you said. I completely agree with Susan.
Yeah.
Growing up, there was one main
Yeah.
profession. I wanted to be a doctor. I was like, I'm going to be a doctor, mom and dad, that's it. Because you're back then, my generation is way back, doctor, engineer, there's not too many options. But my mom did one thing that was really great. She allowed me to go to her friend who was a doctor, and my auntie was operating on a young boy who had a blood clot in his eye. And she said, come, you want to be a doctor? Okay, come. So I went in there, and honestly, I thought I was going to pass out, because when I saw the blood and the clot, I was like, That ended any desire that I ever had of being a doctor. It ended that day. So I said, I don't want anything to do with blood. And I ended up being an engineer, but I really enjoyed, because I was very good in math. I did math and I did additional math. And so I enjoyed engineering. My father also was an engineer. And so it was a profession that I went into not because of my parents. And I'm glad that they didn't say, you have to be an engineer like your dad. And we've kind of done the same thing with our kids. Now, interestingly enough, my younger son, he was going through a phase where he said, I'm going to be a basketball player. And the day he said that, my husband looked at him like, are you okay? A basketball player? I don't think so. But we didn't discourage him. We let him play his basketball. And over time, in fact, I can't even remember the last time he picked up a basketball. But it's turning out that both of them are studying engineering. We didn't pressure them. We didn't, they know what we did. It was their choice. And so I think understanding what your children are gifted in. If they were gifted in music, I think Susan said it right. Get a voice coach. I would do that. It's not like you have to do engineering or you have to be medicine or whatever. Whatever your talent is, let's bring it out. Let's make the best of it. Let's expose you to the best training to bring out whatever that talent is within you. And so I think we're moving more towards that, where we're not looking down on people who are in the arts and only looking at people who are either engineers or doctors or lawyers. Everybody has a space. Everybody has a place. Whatever it is, we all bring something great to the table. I appreciate the creatives so much because that's not my strength. So if I need something creative done, I know who to go to. And so we have to change that mindset that there's only certain professions that are to be valued. Everybody has something, has a place to give their talents to. And I think that's how we need to look at talent these days. And I think we're moving towards that more and more now. If the talent is there, let's nurture it and help them be the best that they can be, whatever it is that they're looking to do.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that input. I'm gonna take it back to Robin. Robin has been in the traditional media for over some years, and then you're now dealing with the youth as a youth advocate. Robin, is there a way that you felt that, just transitioning from traditional media into entrepreneurship, like even as a creative, was there a way that you really felt that, how did you feel in terms of insecurity, in terms of, because sometimes, we're gonna also be honest in the creative space, and also when you're into entrepreneurship, the salary is not always there. You have to, maneuver through, they say that entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. How did you maneuver through that? And how can you also share with other creatives in that space?
Oh, thank you for that question, Isabella. So, first of all, I would really thank my mother. May her beautiful soul rest in peace. My mother encouraged me so much when it came to my career because I think when I had moved to London, when growing up in London, my mother and the African community, it was mainly about telling your daughters to become nurses because I guess that was the paying job. You go become a nurse or RN and you're getting money. However, and actually when I studied at Kingston College, my first course for higher education was sciences. It was intermediate science where I was getting ready to do actually nursing. So it was kind of like an entry course. But I did it for 1 year. And again, it was thin blood that made me be like, I don't think I want to do this because personally, I was already a performer since I was a kid. I've been performing. I was performing in school. Here in Uganda when I was a kid because I was born here and I moved to the UK when I was 13 years old. So I've always been into performing in performance groups here and there. But as a career, I didn't think there was a choice of it being a career because I'm African. Come on, our parents don't really do that. So after the 1 year of doing the intermediate science, I did well. I did well that year, but then I told mom, I say to my my mother, I was like, Mom, you know what? I think I'm smart in science and I can do it, but I feel like my passion is with acting because my goal, my dream is always to be an actress, go to Hollywood and everything. So my mother was like, okay, I'd rather you do something that you love doing and I pay for that rather than you doing something that I'm forcing you to do and then you fail. And for me, for a boomer mother, a generation of boomers to speak like that, I think it was more the influence of the Western world because now she had brought us to the UK and she was raising us from the UK. So she was like, yeah, do what you want to do. So I switched into performing arts. And that's how I started really pursuing the creative arts as actually a career. Now, fast forward to NIU where I did my BFA, I decided to, when I came back after that, I came back to Uganda and I told my mother, I really want to get a job into, acting. They still were not taking it seriously. I said I wanted to do TV because acting was not big in Uganda at that time. It was more TV presenting was paying more money. And thank God NTV Uganda gave me a chance in leadership of Catherine Mwangi as the production manager. She saw the talent in me. She saw the zeal in me. She gave me the opportunity. And that's how I became Robin Kisti. The name Robin Kisti was birthed at NTV Uganda. And I'll be forever grateful for NTV because they made me who I am today. And the respect that I do get from the community here is because of being Robin Kisti. So, and it helps me, my voice be heard. Now, deciding to navigate away from media was more like, I think it was a purpose-driven thing because the media was not paying because looking that my mother was paying about $8,000 a semester for me to study this career. And I'm over here getting paid 1 million Uganda shillings, which is about $300 or $500. It just didn't make any sense to me because I studied for a lot of money to be in this field. And for me to be making $300 a month made no absolute sense to me. And I saw that I had more talents within me that I can explore rather than being on the TV. Because when I came back to Uganda after NTV login, I came back and I was hired at a TV that's paying me $300. And I was like, no, this is not going to happen. I'm 38 years old. Before I was 40, I was like, I'm 38 years old. I have children. I cannot be making $300 a month. So I decided to navigate into entrepreneurship. Thank God my mother had left a few properties here. So I started a guest house. And I saw it used to be apartments, rentals for tenants, but that wasn't even making money either because people were not paying on time. So I thought, being an entrepreneur for my mother, I decided that, okay, let me start a guest house rather than the tenants. And that really picked up really well for me. Then I went to, the purpose part was, I'm into herbal medicine. I started a company called Russ Oils and Herbal. We do sell essential oils and herbal medicines such as moringa. And then we have cypress, which is, as Africans, we use it as the Christmas tree back in the days. It's actually medicine. So we use that. It's also, we use it as the medicine. It's called cypress. Then we have other herbs that we do sell because personally, I felt like, in medicine, I would say that the Western medicine did not work for me. And through my research and stuff I've been studying about when it comes to medicine, because I do believe I'm a natural healer. It's one of my gifts as a natural healer. And that's why I went into herbal medicine. And I thought, people need healing, but then they are also ignorant about Western medication. Western medicine, but we all do know that the foundation of healing comes from herbal roots from our greats and greats and greats and greats. And even in the Western worlds, they used to heal with botanical medicines. So that was the purpose part of my entrepreneurship part in that company. But I've always loved doing business because my mother was a business woman, business driven. And I just felt like I need to make money. I don't just want to be famous. I don't just want to have this name, Robin Kisti, but it does not bring the money on the other end of it. So, and I felt like that was better for me because I'm making way more money now and I'm self-employed. I'm not working for any company, but I do gigs. And I think that's better for me, doing gigs in the entertainment industry. I'm not completely out of it, but I do gigs. Like I will host, I will do, I'm a voiceover artist. So that really actually has been working for me for the past 5 years. It's been really good for me doing voice artistry. So summing up, my answer is that I personally felt like there's more money into entrepreneurship. And I also had a good foundation from my mother. And I just thought that this whole creative industry, it's time for me to nurture others to join it, train others, mentor others to join it, so I can actually be making money from it rather than me being part of it as an employee. I want to be the employer in that industry. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That is so amazing. You know, the fact that you have said purpose, like you're still walking in your creative path, you're still very active in your creative path, but at the same time you have purpose through entrepreneurship, you're creating purpose. You know, you're helping people to get healthy. You're advocating for, you know, the wellness and the healthy being of other people. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd like to share with Susan. Susan, does healing unlock education? What can healing unlock that education cannot do that? What do you think?
Wow, I think actually I believe education will impact you and build you to show up and be competitive in whatever space. But healing will unlock, it's like healing will unlock the engine that will hold the education, because healing unlocks the you, the real you. Because most times when people are not emotionally healed or their identity is dented, you live with a lot of lies, you know, that inner voice that makes you feel like you're not good enough. And so you cannot build anything. It's like a very weak foundation. So healing unlocks the inner you, healing unlocks the power that is locked within you, and it stands at the engine, it stands like the engine on which now education will be built on. Because it's very unfortunate that like here in Kenya, if you visit the mental hospital, the Madari Mental Hospital, there are many people who are speaking fluent English, good English, you know, handsome young men, you know, speaking fluent English, and you can tell this person went to school, but probably because of frustrations in life, and they went through depression or something happened, and so it's like now covers all the education, because it's like you are no longer useful, if I would say that. You are not able to show up and be competitive. So I believe that healing is the engine on which now education will come and build on. Because for you to be balanced, you need to be, education is good 100%, but you also now need the emotional wellness and your identity intact, so that now the education that you get finds grounding for you now to be this competitive person who is productive and is able to make impact. Because it is what, when you have the education and then you are not healed, probably you're still struggling with traumas, it's like you're not balanced, you're walking on one leg, one side, and it's just a matter of time. You burn out because you'll be frustrated. You'll start because of not fulfilling your purpose and bringing out the real potential. It becomes like something that makes you feel so disappointed, because you also can't achieve all that you have purpose to achieve. So healing, if I talk about healing, I believe it's like the engine that now the education will build on. And once somebody has now both angles going well, there is nothing, you cannot be limited by anything. You know, you have your voice, you're confident, you're bold, and you can be able to express yourself on every angle. So I believe healing is important. It's like the engine on which now the education will run from for you to be productive.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for that answer. Now, my last question will be to Chris. Now, Chris, if you had one thing to say to all the fathers, what would you tell them to do differently?
Whoa, Robin.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yes.
To know their worth, to know their authority, to know that they are very important beings in their children's lives, to be present and actively involved in their children's lives, because we mold our children into greatness. We can't talk about talent and anything in Africa or the world without us nurturing these children to be great people, to be great humans.
Mm-hmm.
Human resource is the most important resource in any developing nation or country or economy, right? And human resource is manufactured at home in families. Without that, we'll always be going to Susan for emotional healing, wellness, all the traumas. Most of them, they stem from home. So fathers, you're very important. You have an amazing authority that God has given you. You can either break or build your children. And we need whole beings. That is what I can tell fathers.
Thank you. Thank you. And also to add on a little bit to that, personally, I am also, with my many hats, with my many hats and God-given talents. Right now I'm into neuroplasticity and studying of the mind. And right now, one of my campaigns in my organization, Galuwango Foundation, is to do with mental health awareness, because as Africans, again, that is a topic that we as parents, or we were raised not to pay attention to our mental health. Some of us did not even know what mental health meant until we moved to the Western world and actually understood what it really means. But still growing up in an African household, mental health is not really given such attention. So currently, I talk to young people to make them understand through my social media, my TikTok page. I started a new page under Robin Namboze that's actually predominantly on mental health. So Susan, I'm really happy about the work you're doing, because I feel like as African mothers, especially, we are nurturers. And when someone hears mental guidance from a lady or a woman, it's just that mother in us gives people the courage to hear and feel emotional, because we are very emotionally attached. So I do feel like when I am talking to people, when it comes to mental health, a lot of people don't understand what it even means, because they think when they say mental health, it means you're crazy. And that's what Africans, we think when they say you're having a mental breakdown or a mental problem, they the notion that they get is that you're crazy. You have to be going to Botavika Hospital or wherever the Kenyan hospital for the mental is. So I think it's really important, especially for the parents. And when we go back to the whole topic that we were talking about, boys not crying, I used to be one of the moms that used to tell my son, boys don't cry. Until I started studying more about mental health and the brain and how the brain is wired and neuroplasticity. And I realized that was really wrong to tell your child that boys don't cry, because the boy does have emotion. A boy, a woman, everybody got emotions. It's just about how do we respond and how do we react when we do through these emotions. So the best way is to teach people how to deal with these emotions rather than telling them don't deal don't even feel the emotions. How can you not feel emotion that comes automatically through a trigger? So yeah, so thank you so much, Chris, because it's key as parents. We are the ones that form, we're the first people to form our children's mental health. So if a child is growing up in a toxic home, an abusive home, or a home where they're not encouraged enough, chances are the talents are going to be, buried under the trauma, or under the not, they won't be confident, and it will be buried under a lot of things that they have to deal with within the family, situation. And even when they go out there in the world, there's so much that's put on you where you can't, it's too hard for you to even recognize that now I'm feeling sad, now I'm feeling happy, because there's so much that's going on. So much is thrown at you as an adult. So from childhood, I think I would say to all parents that we need to really pay attention to our children's mental health, because I think it's by far the number one thing that's going to get them to actually bring out their talents. Thank you. And I think I'll give it back to Isabella.
Wow, thank you so much. That's really amazing. Whoa. For a moment you got me there. So as we wind up just a little bit before we invite over Catherine, I'd just like to ask each and everyone, who first, just within a second, who first believed in you? We always have that one person who gives us that platform and that opportunity. Who first believed in you? Either of the panels can go first. Either of the panelists can go first.
I'll just follow up on what Robin said about the parents. The first person who believed in me was my mother. And I'm blessed that she's still around. She's going to be 86. She still believes in me. So she's the first person to believe in me, has always believed in me. I still remember one day I came back I was my final year engineering. I was stressed out. And I was like, Mommy, I can't take this anymore. Mommy, I'm done. And she said, Tosin, it's going to be okay. Just go ahead. You can do this. And that was all I needed, the encouragement. I was able to finish my exam. And so that's the same way that I pass on to my children from the mentorship I got from my mother. And that she was the very first person to believe in me.
Yay to mothers.
Maybe if I would go next, I'm not sure I've really thought about it, but as we were having this discussion, one of the things that had affected greatly the talents that are locked in me is losing identity. And I think the first person to step out and affirm me when I made a decision to stand was my dad. And my dad is not the he doesn't speak, he's very soft spoken. So for him to come up and say, you know what, we believe in you, we are supporting your decisions, and we are cheering you on. I remember the first time, I was remembering this when Catherine hosted me one time. My dad was so excited that he was going to watch me on TV. So he has been my cheerleader. And so because identity gave me direction, built my confidence, and made me resilient, I give it up for my dad. And both my parents, by the grace of God, are still alive. And so they are seeing the work that they have done. But that first person to speak out was my daddy. And I'm so, so, so grateful to him. Thank you.
Well, I would personally say that it was my mother. And again, I would say, may her beautiful soul rest in peace. My mother died at such a young age of 55, 5 years ago. However, my mother has always believed in me. All the confidence that I have is because I guess the household I grew up in, being the youngest girl out of 5 children, my mother and my sisters, they were always like telling me, you're beautiful, you're this, you're confident. And even for her to tell me that if I want to do acting and performing, if that's what I love doing. And she said, yeah, I'll pay for that. She was paying $8,000 per semester in America because I was an international student when I was studying there. So yeah, she sacrificed a lot, and may her beautiful soul rest in peace.
Okay. Isabella, you want to
Awesome.
answer that
Before
question?
Chris comes on board.
Isabella first, then we come to Chris.
All right, cool. The person who believed in me is my mom. My mother, like, literally invested everything in me. She realized the gift of speaking, of media, of like just expressing myself. Even when visitors would come, I'll be left there, just host them as I cook, so I'll come back. And I remember at some point when I just finished high school, and I told her, hey, I think I'm gonna go to the path of media. At some point we had some struggle. She said, no, you please do HR or marketing, it will be fitting for you. And then I told her, okay, I think I'll do it for you, then I give you back the certification. So, oh my god, this person is very serious. So she took me still on board with media, and hey, we are here expressing ourselves. So my mother, and I love her so much. I get a lot from her, even in expressing myself. So big up to you, mommy.
Okay, Wanga, who was the first person to believe in
Chris
you?
can come on board, and then Catherine will wind it up.
I think they had when I say that I just did a degree in IT for the sake of my parents. So the connection is really trying to mess me up. But anyway, I can. Is it bad to say that I believed in myself a bit to step out and do whatever I thought would work for me? Yes, my
Kind of.
parents believed in me by taking me to school, but this other bit of photography and the creative world, I think I believed in myself. Then I went out. Then, for us believers who are believers outside here, my spiritual father believed that I can do this photography thing and really poured into us, into me, into being this confident photographer, excellent photographer who went all the way and even acquired some awards. So I think my spiritual authority believed in me so much, gave me the embrace, gave me the environment to actually do this. So I'm not negating my father for paying for my education. I'm not negating. He also maybe believed in me. But that person who really brought this out, my spiritual father, my late spiritual father.
That's beautiful. What a beautiful conversation today. I mean, look, I am so
You can see the
inspired.
value of parenting.
Yes.
Yes, we can. First, I want to just congratulate our co-moderators, Robin and Isabella. You've been sterling, and as well as Chris, Susan, and Tosin, Arowojolu. Amazing, amazing panel. But there's one thing I missed out on. And first, for Susan and Tosin to tell us what you're into now. What are you doing now? And if people want to reach you, how can they do that? I got a grasp of what Robin is doing, what Isa is doing, but I would love to know a bit more in depth about what Tosin and Susan are doing before I do my last question. So I'll go with you first, Tosin.
Yes, I started off with engineering, but now I do leadership and communication skills, consulting for organizations, for professionals looking to build teams that collaborate and are high performing. And as Isabella said earlier, I am part of the executive directors of John Maxwell team, who is the leadership expert based in the US. So even though I'm not actively an engineer anymore, whatever I learned as an engineer is still very much instilled with me. And now I just use that to help people become better leaders and better communicators. And you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay, love that. I'll connect with you after this. I'm not sure if you're connected or not, but I'll find you after this. And I also must say to you, you're the first Nigerian we have on TAC. So thanks for that. Yeah, you're our first Nigerian.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Yeah, okay. I hope we can do some more. Miss Susan, yes, I last saw you on my TV show, which has since expanded into different formats, with this being one of them. It's good to see you again. And let us know, what are you doing now? What are you up to?
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for having me. And the challenges I had being on this call, now I see why. It's been so impactful and such a blessing. So currently I am an emotional wellness coach. I help people walk the journey to reconstruct their identities, walk in self-awareness and emotional wellness, so that they can rise up as the confident human beings that can make impact. I am also an author. I'm a podcast host and I'm running a community for blended families. So I'm excited as well to meet Robin. I believe we'll do something with you in Uganda. So I'm working with blended families to help them rewrite the narrative. Growing up, there was nothing positive about step families then, and especially the mother. Oh, she was always wicked. But imagine we are good mothers nowadays. So yeah, I that's what I'm also doing. Thank you.
I like that. And I like what you said. You see, again, this is the value of conversations like this, because you get to hear another member of the panel, panelist. And then you're like, I'll connect with her and just continue this conversation further. And that's I think that's also what this continent needs. And just further progressing, especially where this topic is concerned. Chris, I know Isabella shared your story. I can see you're on mute. I'm not sure why you're on mute, but I saw Isabella shared your story. But I always love to hear people's stories from the horse's mouth. And I see today we kind of sharing the same fashion sense. So we are synergistically. This was meant to happen. So tell us what you're up to and how people can find you. Wait, before you come, Susan, how can people find you?
Oh, sorry. I'm on social media as Kibe on all platforms. Kibe will connect you to the coaching and the blended families aspect. So Kibe on Facebook, Instagram, yeah, LinkedIn. I'm coming. I told Isabella I'm working on it this week.
Okay, Chris, tell us how we can find you. First, what you're doing now, what are you up to, and how the people can find you.
I'm not so sure what Isabella said, but I'm into media, photography, and videography, content creation, and gravitating into parenting and into fatherhood. Really trying to grow a community around fatherhood, responsible fathers, because of what we play, the roles we play as fathers in our children's lives. I want to bring in fathers into this, go back into raising children, not just providing the finances only for those who are providing the finances. And you're not saying it is bad, but just being part and parcel of raising these children. It is not a mother's thing to raise children alone, no. So that is what I'm doing currently. And I think that is where I'll be going. And I also want to do counseling. So I think Susan with the emotional wellness, I think we'll connect. I also want to know more about blended families and how to do this in a good way, in a better way, because I know there's a way to do this. You can find me on all platforms. I have so many names. I need to bring all this into one to consolidate all this. But you can find me on About Fatherhood. It is called Father Studies. Father Studies on IG, on TikTok, and on YouTube. We are running under Picha Zawanga. That is the media name, the company, the consulting firm for media. Picha Zawanga. That is what we go by. Even on LinkedIn, it's Picha Zawanga.
Okay.
That is what we do.
I like that. And there's something you're not telling us. At least Isabella said that to me early this week. something about your son. There's some competition that we need to vote for.
Sorry, thank you for that. I forgot I'm not supposed to waste this talent, right? And you're talking about wastage of talent. My son, who is 3 years, 8 months, has an interest in music. He's really interested in it, as I shared earlier. And so he got nominated in one of the awarding organization called MEMA. It's running, I think, until October. Is it okay if I'll share the link later on how to vote for him?
Yeah.
So that he was nominated as the Youngest Talent of the Year award because of his love for music, especially gospel music.
Wow. Wow.
That is what
Well
we
done.
have.
Well
The
done.
idea to fund, to encourage him. Ours
Yes.
is just to train him to manage. Yes. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. And yes, so please share the link so that we
Thank
can
you for
put
the
it on.
opportunity.
I mean, I was waiting for you to say it, and clearly, thank God I remembered it. But you'll share with us the voting link, and we can put that on this YouTube live stream, and just share that with the people. Okay. Now I have one last question for all of you, and
Thank you,
whoever goes first, you'll have to be thinking quite. I don't know who I'll go with. Maybe Robin. I'll go first. Wait, there's a comment here. Tamiru says. Oh, Tamiru was on our fast TAC on AI. He's from Ethiopia. He says, great conversations. Yes, some of those atypical or undermined talent could be our superpower if nurtured well. Yeah, so thanks, Tamiru, for that. I know we are doing some more TACs in the near future. So then Anwamboi says, great lessons, then wow, then wow. So Anwamboi has given us many wows. Thank you, Anne, for watching. And again, if anybody is interested in just being a part of TAC, future TAC conversations, just reach out to us. The WhatsApp number is there. Let us know what topic. And then, because this is the African conversation, it is free of charge. So just reach out to us and then, we assess that request. My last question to all of you would be, if Africa was to, and not if Africa was to move to the next level based on everything we've discussed today, where we are securing and saving and developing the talent in this continent, what are the 3 things that need to happen? And you could choose either one at individual level or at government level. So we have different countries. I think we have 54, 55 countries, and each has its own constitution. So, so we can't say as Africa-wide, but we can simply say generically, as individuals watching this who are Africans, whether here in the diaspora or as countries, these governments, administrations, what are the 3 things, and you could pick whichever, that need to happen, that need to be executed for us to say yes? If somebody watches this and they say, okay, I need just 3 things, summary, what will those be? And I'll start with you, Robin, followed by Isabella, followed by Miss Sue Kibe, followed by Miss Tosin, and finally the gentleman of this panel, Chris. And you will go back to back. So Robin, go.
All right, thank you so much for that question. Personally, I would say that as Africans, we have such a dependency mentality. And it's just evident everywhere, because every problem that happens or everything that's going on, people, especially here in Uganda, they're always asking, government, ituyambe, they're always saying, government, we need your help, government, we need your help. But I feel like this is a collective effort, and every person needs to take accountability in where they can add, expertise. Because if we all sit there, because for me, I decided to move from abroad to come back to Uganda because I felt like my talents were not as well recognized out there as they would be here, and I would not be of use out there as much as I can be here. So me choosing to move back here so I can add my little whatever I can add, my mind, my education, add to the community. I think it goes a long way. And I think as Africans, we need to stop running away from our countries and actually solve problems rather than running away from problems and always asking the government to solve the problems, because we can solve problems as individuals. It starts with us.
All right. Isabella, thank you for that, Robin. Isabella, unmute yourself and give us your three. Robin just gave us a lecture. Forget the government. Do it yourself. Okay. Isabella.
Okay. Okay, for me, my top three would be mentorship, guidance, and support. Plus, the support needs to come with funding. One, we really need to mentor the youth. If the youth are not mentored, they'll just walk in their own rightful ways. Mentor them and to build them up so that we can leave, we can leave a spark on each and every person. Catherine, there's a spark that you hold in media, arts, and entertainment. I mean, like for over 2 or 3 decades of the wealth of knowledge that you have, you pass it over to the youth. They'll be in the best way possible. You have seen the way media has been transformed, right from the way we started to now in the digital platform. So most of them are coming into the digital world. So you walk with them through, they will be able to appreciate what have walked in through, and they'll be able to walk in through it slowly. It will catch all the journey. 2 is support. You cannot lead without through it. So if we give the youth support where they are falling short and we call it out, will be the best thing ever. They will feel they will look back and say, okay, let me walk through this path to get it right. And we need funding. Lastly, funding. We have a lot of grants outside there. We have from let me start from my own nation. We have KFC, we have spec, we have even mema. There is a lot of funding. We have grants even there nationally. So when we give these grants and funding to the creatives, it will boost them. It will create a sense of creative economy to them. They will bring it back to the community, and it will help them. It will help them to do their films, it will help them to do their songs, it will help them to record, it will help them in all manner and boosting the creative economic side, and it will also be a booster also to growing the country's own economic status, and also collaboration. Right now we are seeing a lot of collaborations in different parts of the world. When we all merge together, it will come out so beautiful. Yeah. So those are my top 3.
Well, thank you, Isabella. Who was next? Is this you, Susan? And
It's
wait,
me.
let me read a comment. This is from your husband. Woo! Lord have mercy. Your husband says, there we go. Good to see my wife thrive in her purpose. Cheering you on! Exclamation mark. Excuse me, husbands and wives. Well, thank you, Mr. Atsulu, for just being here and showing us how it's done. Okay, so yes, Sue, let's hear from you.
Thank you. I'm glad the comment came when we were winding up, because the points would have disappeared. So anyway, thank you, honey. Thank you for your support. Yeah, for me, I feel like Isabella has said 5, and one of them was mine on mentorship. But I think one of the greatest support systems that we can give the talents that are coming up, as we mentor, as we have the support financially, the origin is where these people are coming from. So I'm very strong on family, so I'll start on family, because if families are able to, number one, even these creatives or the whatever talents are being birthed from, then number one, there'll be a very good ground for them to rise up in self-confidence, because it is something we have in Africa is resources. We have resourceful people, but the reason why some of this resourcefulness is hidden is because of our family backgrounds, the things that we have been through. So family to be a strong foundation where the people can stand on, and that would be great support. And then of course there is lots of training. I love what Isabella said, that there are a lot of grants out there, a lot of support is available, but most people probably are not aware. So lots of training on where they can access the grants, how to do it. And then the other major thing is to look more on collaboration than competition. If we compete, we lose. We lose the potential. We lose the whatever should be coming out as impact. But if we collaborate, we are stronger together. So if the talent would have a good breeding ground in the homes we are coming from, in families, people who believe in us, people who believe and nurture the giftings that we have, and then when you come out into the marketplace, collaboration beyond competition, and then of course lots of training. We can never go wrong with training. Training will nurture even the best of the gifts to make sure they sharpen and give the best that they can and make more impact. Training will curb any form of lack of confidence. It will curb where people are feeling they are tired to move on. And like Robin said, even in Kenya, sometimes people say, Serikali's idea, government help us. Meanwhile, we are the people that are even supposed to be giving them solutions. But once somebody is not trained, once they don't have the support, they don't believe in themselves. So self-belief is important to know that you are a resource yourself and that you are the solution we are waiting for. Yes, that's what I would say.
Okay, that sounds really good. I like that. Miss Arowojolu, time to hear your voice.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine. And since we're wrapping up, I just want to say thank you again for this wonderful opportunity. This was an amazing panel discussion. I really enjoyed it. And thank you, Isabella, for connecting me. And I have 3 A's that I want to share. The first is awareness. First of all, believe that you have value. Once you know that you have value, that's the first step. And it doesn't matter, I know we've talked about youth, but even our elders, they have a lot that they can bring to the table with their experience. And I think that's where mentorship will come in. And the next thing is appreciation. You're aware that you have the talent, then appreciation for what you have, whether appreciating what somebody else has, seen it in them, and if they're not really bringing it out, bring it out for them so that they can also come together and be part of the contribution. And then the last bit will be action, because without anything, we can talk from morning till night. If we don't take action, nothing is going to happen. So those are my 3 A's. It's appreciation, awareness, appreciation, and action.
I love that. Wow, that's even easy to remember. I like that. Okay, the man of the match. Is it that I keep seeing you do this? Does this mean what does this mean?
This one is to the deaf. When you clap, this is now congratulations. I'm celebrating.
Okay.
Yes,
Tell us your 3 things. Tell us your 3 things.
Hey, what do I say after all these people have said all these things? They've finished everything for me. But let me just say, the government needs to create an environment, the right environment, so that creatives can thrive in. Bring in right policies and work the policies. Don't just legislate and keep them as documents. Open doors, create the environment so that the creatives can thrive in. Another one, Madam Tosin said appreciation. Appreciation in this manner, as for me, when we do these jobs with the government, pay on time. Pay on time. Please. I think we were raising from the government side, right? Just creating the right environment, celebrating the creative so that we know and we see, so the young ones can see and know that even the creatives, they can thrive in their talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just the doctors, the engineers. You can see Madam Tosin here is now from engineering into leadership. The leadership structures need to be made, and let's walk the talk. Okay? Our leaders, let's walk the talk. We have the resources. People are really willing to do this, but without the right legislation, the right policies, the right environment, we cannot thrive. And that is up to the government to create that. Thank you so much for this. I'm really humbled. Being the only man here. And I'm celebrating Mr. Atsulu for celebrating Madam Sue. You built me. I'm looking for men like you. I'm looking for men like you, Mr. Atsulu. And I think you're from my hometown, Western. Anyway.
Okay.
I love that.
Pretty cool. I am so grateful. And yes, we are honored that you are the only young man here and you speak for many creatives. And thank you to everybody, even as we wind up. My 3 things came actually from all of y'all's conversation. You spoke about mentorship. You spoke about presence. You cannot develop if you're not fully present. And for me, presence has actually been like the guide, the anchor to literally just everything. Whether you're present 2%, 5%, 6%, can always be multiplied. But if you're not present, then it can't happen. So you have to just show up in whichever spaces that are there for you to just be, like your hand to be held, so to speak. But I'm just so grateful. There's so many comments. And Wamboi, I think she's in your team. Miss Sue. Hey, Sue, all your people are here.
Hey,
Anne is here. And Wamboi is here saying that is our leader. We have resources. Thank you, Anne. Maybe the next one you'll show up. Who knows? But from Uganda, thank you, Robin. You're my baby. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Yeah, and please, Isabella, you said I have 30 years experience. You are not here to age me, okay? I refuse to be
It's a blessing, Kathy. It's a blessing.
I refuse to be aged, okay? It is 26 years, so you're not too far anyway.
Wow.
But
That's a great blessing.
It's a blessing. It is a blessing. Age is a blessing.
Yes.
It is a
Welcome now. It's a blessing.
Okay, but I'm grateful for you as well.
Golden.
Okay, enough of that point. I'm winding up. We are saying goodbye. Okay. But thanks Isabella for just doing this and Robin for showing up even after, despite the circumstances that showed up in your life a few weeks ago. We are glad you're still here and you always find a way. And Isabella just introducing us to this incredible panel. Of course, I remember Chris. Of course, I've interviewed Sue before. And of course, I'm glad to meet with Miss Tosin Arowojolu. I'm having so much fun pronouncing your name.
I can see. I'm hoping. You're doing a good job.
I am, right?
Yes, yes.
I tell people Uganda is my second home. Nigeria is the home. All my mentors, coaches, leaders are Nigerian. All of them, like, literally. Wow. That's another story. But thank you to the panel. I am so grateful. I hope we can do this again. We're about to go off, but to this panel, do not switch off. We're just switching off for our worldwide audience.
Okay.
And then y'all just still stay on, okay? Okay. To the people who've just taken time to watch us, including Kibe's husband.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making time, and drop us your comments, your questions if you want to participate on the African conversation. Just write to us or send us a WhatsApp message, and we'll be glad to host you. This is always my challenge. If you want to just participate, you just need to let me know what topic do you want us to talk about, and who do you have in mind as a guest. Okay, you sort of own it. You own it, and you say, hey, I think this is a good topic for Africa, so could you just do this on TAC? And all I say is, oh, okay, who do you think would be a good guest? And, we have conversations with them, and that's what Isabella did, that's what Robin did. And I'm hoping that with the panel today, we can keep building some more. But for me, my name is Catherine Mwangi. I am so glad you made the time. And until the next conversation, stay well, stay strong, drink your water, and God bless you.